This is News 8 Now, this morning.
It's much higher than we would like it to see. It's approaching flood levels that we've seen in the past that can be quite devastating, but we're handling it as best as we can.
I'm trying to teach these kids we don't always have to get something back. We're going to get something back in return, so much more of just the feeling of caring and kindness.
I had a bunch of friends who lost their language and lost their culture, didn't really know what to do. But now because of Home Club, they know what to wear, how to prep, what food.
It was like really unexpected. I wasn't like thinking I would win like any place at all, so I think I'm very honored to hear that I got second place.
Good morning, everyone. That was your morning eye opener. I'm Sophia Pullman.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is Tuesday, April 25th.
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah,
the
it is
25th.
April 25th. Yep.
April's flying by.
It is crazy.
I know.
You know, next week we're going to be into May. Can you believe that?
Well, I'll believe it if we get the weather that we're supposed to.
Believe it or not, you know, highs in the 50s and 60s are pretty typical for this time of year.
I can do 60s.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of us can, right? And, you know, once we get later into May, we'll start hitting those mid-upper 60s, low 70s. So just got to give it time. It's a gradual warm-up around here, especially in the upper Midwest. But our satellite and radar picture off to a nice clear start here this morning across much, if not everyone, here in the Coulee region this morning. But it is a little cool outside, pretty similar to what we had here yesterday in many spots. You can see the clear skies there on the satellite picture. Current temperature readings are into the 30s, some spots into the 20s. Black River Falls, the cold spot that I can find on a map, 22 degrees there, 29 in Eau Claire, 29 in Sparta, 34 is the temperature in Winona. So a check on your planner for today. We start off mostly clear this morning, and then skies will continue to remain clear up until around noon. We start to see some slightly increasing cloud cover between around 2 and 4 p.m. today, with temperatures in the low 50s. As far as your allergy report here today goes, ash and birch is medium, trees are high. We have the same forecast in store once again as we head into the day tomorrow. Now, coming up in a bit, I'll have a check on your full weather forecast. I'll let you know how the rest of the week here is shaping out, because we could be talking about some rain chances. More details still to come. Sophia?
Thanks, Derek. Let's get to some news this morning. The Mississippi River continues to rise along western Wisconsin. Here is a view of Riverside Park. The floodwaters have filled into the grassy areas, and people are stopping by to get their own photos. La Crosse's Park and Rec Department closed Riverside Park, as well as the road that runs through it. Pettibone and Huska Park are also closed. The following trails are closed until further notice: the Cottonwood, Grand Crossing, Willow, and Jim Asfor Marsh trails. Officials want to remind everyone, if you do not live in the town of Campbell, to avoid the area. Less traffic will help emergency workers respond to situations quickly. If you are a resident of the town of Campbell, call 211 to learn more about recommended safety precautions. Floodwaters are gaining into downtown Fountain City, and the community is working to keep them at a stop. Water has not breached the sandbag barrier the city has created, but instead has pushed up through the cracks in the road. The city's mayor says the flooding is worse than expected.
It's much higher than we would like it to see. It's approaching flood levels that we've seen in the past that can be quite devastating, but we're handling it as best as we can.
The community is helping sandbagging operations. Busloads of students came from Fountain City School District are helping pile up sandbags. One student says it's a way to pay back community support.
Just giving back to the community that's always helped us out, you know. I mean, they've always been to our football games and our basketball games, and they've really helped us out. So we just got to give back to them, and I think it's a good idea.
City officials are closing Highway 35 from Wisconsin 37 in Alma to just south of Fountain City. A detour is set up. Everyone is being asked to avoid driving through Fountain City. We have alternative route information on our website. Fountain City wasn't the only place where high schoolers helped. A viewer sent us these photos from Prairie du Chien, where students and staff filled and placed sandbags around houses. Sandbags are available to residents at the corner of East Washington Street and North Ohio Street. City officials are talking to county officials about starting up a second sandbag location. Road closures continue in Prairie du Chien. As a reminder, County Road K from Cliffwood Drive to Highway 35 is closed. There are several other closures put into place. All of St. Friol Island remains closed. The Hoffman Hall Recreational Center is now a temporary shelter. If you need to evacuate, contact Crawford County Emergency. City officials are asking evacuees to contact Madison Gas and Electric and Alliant Energy if you evacuate your home. We have more information on news8000.com. If you saw smoke coming from the bluffs, don't worry too much. La Crosse's Parks, Rec, and Forestry crews were doing controlled burns in prairies in blufflands. The Thomas and Fitzpatrick Pollinator Prairie was burned on Monday. These controlled burns help native plants and get rid of extra dead grasses. Small acts of kindness can go a long way. One Bangor Elementary School club knows that well. They give up their recess once a week to volunteer and uplift their community. Now they're helping spread an Onalaska woman's mission a little bit further. News 8's Now Emily Haugen joins us to share their crusade for kindness.
Piece by piece.
I usually do these colors.
These Bangor 5th graders are focused on their art, a project that's helping them master a different craft.
Feel good.
Kindness.
I like to do it because it makes me happy and because it makes other people happy.
A happiness inspired by Kathleen Jensen's Little Heart Project. She crochets hearts with messages for suicide prevention.
It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't need to take, state funding. It's simple. And it's tangible.
All right, come on in.
Elementary school counselor Matt Jacobson took her message to heart.
We decided to kind of adapt our theme, obviously not talking about suicide at the elementary level, but talking about just caring and sharing love.
On Monday, the kids got a chance to share the love themselves.
Everybody will have it on their backpack to show a sign of love and kindness, because everybody needs to know that they're loved.
Giving love to the littlest peers in the 4K classroom.
I'm trying to teach these kids we don't always have to get something back. We're going to get something back in return, so much more of just the feeling of caring and kindness.
We're here to spread kindness and to show that everybody loves you.
Starting with a little heart.
You like it?
There's just such a need for kindness, which is what these kids did today. And that's, I think, the key to, it's changing the world.
We first met Kathleen Jensen in August, months after she started the Little Heart Project. Since then, it's expanded across the state and country. The kids are planning on trying handmade hearts to every bag in the school. If you'd like to get involved with the Little Heart Project, you can check out our website. The winners of the 3rd Congressional District Art Competition were finally announced. In first place is a painting named No Screen Window by Taryn Everson from Holman High School. This painting will be displayed in the U.S. Capitol building for a year. The second place winner goes to Gaonu Shang with its embroidered piece of a cowfish. This will be displayed in the 3rd District's office in D.C. Shang says the announcement came as a surprise.
It was really unexpected. I wasn't thinking I would win any place at all, so I think I'm very honored to hear that I got 2nd place.
She is also from Holman High School. Over in Eau Claire, students and members of the community gathered to celebrate their culture. The Heritage Celebration was full of performances by students, as well as language spelling bee and traditional food. The Hmong Club brings together these students from both Eau Claire North High School and Memorial High School. One student says the club and events like these help her peers reconnect with their heritage.
I had a bunch of friends who lost their language and lost their culture, didn't really know what to do. But now because of Hmong Club, they know what to wear, how to prep, what food.
North High School has Hmong language and history classes as well. The Heritage Night also had information about community resources for the local Hmong community. Early bird registration for the 17th annual Stepping Out in Pink is officially open. The cost for people who register early is $20. Early bird registration is open through June 29th. Prices increased to $25 on the 30th. This year's event will take walkers through the La Crosse Marsh Trails. The event is Saturday, September 9th at Riverside Park in La Crosse. In the second hour, we have Olivia Moths to share more information about this year's upcoming Stepping in Pink. Still ahead on your morning news, the United States Postal System has made changes to how they pay their mail carriers, and they don't approve. And school cafeterias across the country are going plastic-free to reduce waste. Learn how with environmental lessons kids are also learning during lunch. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. People living in part of Minnesota and Wisconsin have noticed a surprise light show brightening up their night skies last weekend. A solar flare set off a geomagnetic storm that lit up the sky across Minnesota and Wisconsin. Experts say a good time frame to see northern light shows are between fall and late spring for those in our viewing area. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning after the break.
Well, we continue to track mainly clear skies across the area this morning. However, it is a little bit cool out there this morning. We'll get to your temperatures in a second, but your dog walking conditions in the meantime, mostly sunny. Bring a light jacket though with you. Mostly sunny heading into the afternoon as well before we start to see some of those clouds increase as we head into the evening. But overall, perfect dog walking conditions there. 29 is the temperature in Eau Claire, 34, however, in Winona. Further south into La Crosse, we're looking at 32, 29 currently in areas like Sparta. So for your zone forecast today, I'm expecting our high temperatures to reach the 50s. Once again, very similar to yesterday with a high of 53 expected in Berry Mills, 49 in Middle Ridge though, 51 today in Soldiers Grove. Our highs will reach 52 in Stoddard. Highs reach 52 as well in Trempealeau today. And meanwhile into the east in Warrens, Monroe County 50 there, 51 today in Eau Claire, and 49 if you're in Bloomer. So for your schoolcast this morning, we are talking clear skies, temperatures on the cold side, 33 degrees, just shy of that freezing mark. As we head home here this afternoon, temperatures will rise to 51 degrees under mainly partly cloudy skies. Now coming up in a bit, I'm still going to have a check on your full weather forecast. I'll let you know when we could be talking about some rain later this week.
Rural mail carriers in Iowa are calling for transparency from the United States Postal Office. An anonymous mail carrier says that they are losing up to $15,000 to $20,000 a year. Rural postal carriers have an evaluated pay system, getting paid for what they're doing during the day. Someone gave the USPS, and National Rural Letter Carriers Association a new evaluation system. It's being used, but there's a problem.
It wasn't a joint decision with the union. It has to be a joint decision with the union. That's what the arbitrator said.
If this stands, they would still be doing the same amount of work for less pay. In response, USPS released a statement saying that the plan is to implement the system and correct the errors later. The company that makes geisha shrimp is expanding its recall. The recall of medium shrimp now includes all 4-ounce cans distributed in most states since December. Kawasho Foods USA Incorporated says the affected shrimp might have been underprocessed, causing it to spoil. The FDA website has more information about the recall, including the UPC code for the items affected. The U.S. manufacturing industry could see layoffs this year now that the supply chain is running more smoothly. Wells Fargo economists predict companies should be caught up on the pandemic backlog in about 5 months. Meanwhile, demand is falling as consumers and businesses rein in their spending on manufactured goods. Surveys from the Institute for Supply Management show the sector already has been contracting for several months. School cafeterias are now teaching important lessons about reducing waste. A plastic-free school lunch movement is spreading across the country with real effects for the planet. Bradley Blackburn takes us to the elementary school where it all began.
The lunchroom inside PS 15 in Brooklyn looks like so many others.
Enjoy your lunch. On the menu today, mozzarella sticks, broccoli, and orange slices. How's it taste?
It's amazing.
But what's really amazing?
It's less plastic.
Almost no plastic is used to eat it.
To make it better for the earth.
If we have less plastic, the factories will stop making more plastic.
Plastic-free school lunch day means a midday meal served without any single-use plastic, like forks, cups, or wrapping. The idea started at this school a few years ago with help from a nonprofit called Cafeteria Culture.
People need to see change to believe that it's possible.
Plastic-free lunch days have now spread to schools in more than 24 cities across the country.
A really great example and shines a light for children across the country that kids can really lead on these issues.
Cafeteria Culture says more than 7 billion meals are served in schools every year, so just reducing plastic use can make a real difference. The day helps students see their choices have impact.
I feel like I would always just take one cup, throw it out, then use another, and I realize it's stupid because I'm just wasting.
A lesson for all of us served up at lunch.
New York City public schools now have at least one plastic-free lunch day every month in all 750 elementary schools. That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in with Derek in today's forecast.
All right, thanks for that, Sophia. We are tracking nice clear weather conditions this morning. However, it is a little on the cold side, though. Our current temperatures are right at the freezing mark, as a matter of fact, in La Crosse at 32. Downtown, however, it's a little bit warmer at 34 degrees, just slightly. North-northwest winds at 6 miles an hour. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, we're also looking clear here. Temperatures at 29 degrees. However, it feels like 24 when you factor in the winds coming out of the north at around 5 miles an hour. So I do want to give you a quick update here on some of these river levels. As you can see, a lot of us in Wabasha, Winona, La Crosse, all dealing with major flooding here. However, if you look on the right where it's expected to crest here, expected to crest this week. Today in Wabasha, as a matter of fact, it's 17.2 feet. Winona will crest at 19.2 feet tomorrow. And then on Thursday, La Crosse should crest at 16.1 feet there, and then Trempealeau 651.2 as we head into tomorrow. So we are almost there, and then after that, the river stages should begin to decline. Our current temperatures are currently into the upper 20s, low 30s, 32 as we just saw there in La Crosse. And unfortunately, the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook still shows that we are looking at well below average temperatures across the majority of the eastern half of the country there. With forecast highs today, as a matter of fact, at 50 in Eau Claire. I'm expecting a high of 53 today in La Crosse and 51 expected in Sparta today. The warmer spots like Boscobel could hit a high of about 53 degrees. So for your planner, we start off mostly clear, mostly sunny by noon today, and then mostly cloudy, 51 degrees by 4 p.m. By 8 o'clock this evening, temperatures drop just slightly to 48 under mostly clear skies. So as you can see, we will continue to watch the majority of the clouds kind of settle in. As we head into 2 o'clock, we start to see some of those increasing clouds. And then by 7, we start to see the clouds decrease here a little bit as we head into the early evening. And by overnight, we're going to be looking at clear skies. Temperatures also dropping here into the 30s. Here's early tomorrow morning, and just a few clouds there, 20s and 30s for our temperatures before warming up into the 50s yet again for tomorrow under mostly sunny skies. But there are rain chances coming, though. We're watching a storm system that could spark the rain chances as early as Friday and also give us some decent chances of some showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms there as we head into this weekend as well, with highs mainly into the 50s and 60s. And it looks like the cloudy skies will linger into early next week, but I'm not thinking any rain chances for Monday and Tuesday. Highs remain to the 50s, though, and lows into the 30s and 40s. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We're taking a quick break with a look what happened on this day in history for April 25th. Stay with us.
Welcome to the Blitz. It was back in the middle of March when Aaron Rodgers said he plans to play for the New York Jets. The only thing holding the trade up at the time was compensation. And after almost 6 weeks, the compensation has been agreed upon, and the four-time MVP is no longer a part of the green and gold. The Packers and Jets reportedly coming to an agreement Monday with Rodgers as the centerpiece in this blockbuster trade. And after 18 years as a Packer, Rodgers will have a new home in 2023. The 39-year-old was drafted by Green Bay in the first round back in 2005, built a Hall of Fame resume over that span. A 10-time Pro Bowler, 4-time MVP, 4-time first-team All-Pro, Super Bowl champ, and a Super Bowl MVP, leading the Packers to a championship back in 2011. After almost 2 decades of making Lambeau Field his home, Rodgers will go from the green and gold to the green and white. Obviously a tough decision for the Packers GM, but yesterday Brian Gutekunst spoke about the legacy that Rodgers leaves behind in Green Bay.
He'll always be a Packer, you know what I mean? And he'll want to be one of the best that ever have done it around here. And I have a lot of respect how he went about it. And he'll be missed. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, players like that don't come around very often. But at the same time, we're really excited where we're headed and what we're moving to do, and wish him nothing but the best.
Now let's take a look at the trade details, see who gets what here. As for the Jets, they'll get Rodgers. Obviously, they'll pick swap with the Packers, so Green Bay will get the 13th pick. Jets will get the 15th overall pick on Thursday. New York will also get a 5th-round pick. As for the Packers, Green Bay gets the 42nd overall pick, a 6th-rounder, and the Packers also receive a conditional 2024 2nd-round pick that will become a 1st-rounder if Rodgers plays 65% of the Jets' snaps. Shifting gears to the high school sports scene, good matchup last night. Central and Holman squaring off. Riverhawks and Vikings hitting the field at Logan High. Back and forth match, no score in the 70th minute. Central on the attack. Grace Wilkerson fouled in the box. Central now with the PK. Chance to take the lead. Kate Heiderscheid delivers. The junior finds the back of the net. Riverhawks hold on for the win, 1-0. Let's go to Miami for Game 4. Bucks in trouble late. Heat on a 13-0 run. They're up 1 with 3 to go, but Giannis puts Milwaukee back on top. Count it +1, Bucks up 2 until Caleb Martin knocks down the 3. It's 105-104 Miami. 2.5 to go now. Bucks looking for an answer. Drew Holiday, top of the key, steps back, buries the triple. Milwaukee goes back up by 2, but the story of the night was this guy, Jimmy Butler, single-handedly taking this game over, and that's why they call him Playoff Jimmy. 56 points on the night for Butler. He puts the Bucks on the brink. Miami wins Game 4, 119-114, as the Heat take a 3-1 series lead. Game 5 is back in Milwaukee on Wednesday. And finally, former Aquinas standout Lexi Donarski announcing that she'll be transferring to ACC powerhouse North Carolina in 2023. Donarski spent the last 3 seasons at Iowa State. She was named Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year in 2022. She earned a spot on the All-Big 12 first team as a sophomore, leading the Cyclones all the way to the Sweet 16. Donarski started every game she played in at Iowa State, but now with 2 years of eligibility still left in her college career, the former Blue Gold will be wearing Carolina blue as she heads to Chapel Hill to join the Tar Heels. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
It's official. President Biden will run for re-election in 2024 with Vice President Harris as his running mate. The announcement came this morning in a video titled Freedom, which was released exactly 4 years after his announcement for the 2020 presidential race. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans.
President Joe Biden is in for another round, releasing this video announcing he will run for re-election in 2024. In it, the president invokes images from January 6th and takes swipes at Republicans.
Dictating what health care decisions women can make. Banning books.
He also highlights some of the achievements of his first term, like putting the first black woman justice on the Supreme Court.
Let's finish this job. I know we can.
It comes as a recent NBC News poll shows that 70% of Americans don't want Biden to run for president, with his age cited as a primary concern.
He's going to be 82. When should he be reelected? And he, if he serves out the entirety of a second term, he'll be closer to 90.
Former President Donald Trump, who turned 77 this year, currently tops multiple polls for the 2024 GOP nomination after announcing his own reelection bid late last year. Yesterday, he preemptively released a statement claiming he would defeat Biden in a rematch.
We will together win the election of 2024 and make America great again.
But Trump's candidacy also faces opposition. That same NBC News poll shows 60% of Americans don't want to see him run again either. Jared Hill, CBS News.
President Biden has taped longtime Democratic operative and highest-ranking West Wing official Julie Rodriguez will serve as his campaign manager and Quentin Fulks as principal deputy campaign manager. Fulks previously headed up Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock's campaign. Later today, the president will make remarks on his economic agenda in Washington, D.C., and he'll host a visit from the South Korean president and First Lady. Major shakeups at two cable news giants. Fox News announced it has parted ways with its most watched anchor, Tucker Carlson, days after the blockbuster $787 million settlement between the network and Dominion Voting Systems. Fox shares dropped 3% for the day following the Carlson news. Also on Monday, CNN host Don Lemon tweeted that his network has fired him. Lemon came under fire recently over comments that 51-year-old 2024 GOP presidential candidate Nikki Haley wasn't in her prime, which critics called sexist. He later apologized. Minnesota's Muslim community says this yet another example of rising attacks on their places of worship. WCCO's Kirsten Mitchell explains what surveillance footage reveals and how police plan to help.
Surveillance video shows a man carrying a brown bag into Mall 24's mosque just before 7 Sunday night. Inside the bag, Muslim community leaders say was gasoline, which he then used to light a fire in the bathroom.
We averted a major tragedy. You know, the amount of liquid that he brought to cause the harm that we're expecting here, you know, this mall could have been engulfed.
But it wasn't, thanks to worshipers who chased him out and helped extinguish the fire.
This is now potentially an act of arson that occurred in a house of worship. So now that is potentially a federal offense.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara met with community leaders on Monday, vowing to add an increased police presence. They believe the man may be responsible for other acts of vandalism in the past, like in January when Care Minnesota says he left graffiti and a gasoline canister at the mall.
We know Islamophobia is alive in our state, and we're just making sure that, educating the community and making sure this is serious.
Care Minnesota says this is the fourth time a mosque has been damaged this year. This was the last time just a few weeks ago in Minneapolis.
This is increasingly challenging for our community, and it sets our community in a very uncomfortable position.
We need the community to see the image of this person, and we need the community to tell us if they see this person out there, if they have any information at all of who this might possibly be.
Chief O'Hara said he has made the FBI and U.S. Attorney aware of this latest incident. Senator Tammy Baldwin is asking for answers after the wildfire in Monroe County and on Fort McCoy. The fire burned roughly 3,000 acres and took 3 days to get under control. The senator is sending a letter to Army Secretary Christine Wormuth asking questions about the decision-making process for running prescribed burns. She also asks how the Army coordinates with the state's Department of Natural Resources when dealing scheduled burns. We have a link on the full letter on news8000.com. And the Assembly has reintroduced a bill that would make financial literacy a required course for high schoolers. State Republicans mentioned it last year, but too late for school districts to add. The class would be half a credit starting in 2028, but it would be an extra cost to public schools, many of whom are already going to referendum to pay for current classes. Some western Wisconsin districts like Arcadia already require a financial literacy class, but only 34% of the state districts require it. The people who go above and beyond every day have the potential to reshape not only their present day community, but the next generation as well. We get the opportunity to introduce you to our latest hometown hero.
Not all heroes wear capes. That couldn't be more true for a local volunteer EMT on Kickapoo Rescue Squad in Viola, Wisconsin. Our April hometown hero goes to Sadie Wallace, a volunteer EMT for over 16 years. She's had her fair share of serving her community in times of need.
I just like to help people.
On top of being an emergency medical technician, she works in her local emergency department, sharing her love of helping others through her hard work and dedication.
If I have to leave a birthday party or a school event or something like that, they know that it's because I have to help someone else.
Sadie was nominated by her daughter Lydia, who just so happens to be graduating in her mother's footsteps this May.
I've always wanted to go into emergency medicine because of her. She's been an EMT for as long as I can remember.
Lydia hopes people hear her mom's story and see what's good in the world.
I just hope they realize that there is, in small spaces even, there are people who care about each and every individual.
Reporting in Viola, Wisconsin, Sophia Pullman, News 8 Now.
If you know someone in your community who goes above and beyond, you can nominate a future hometown hero on our website, news8000.com. Here is Derek to give us an update on our weather conditions.
Mainly clear skies here this morning. It is a little bit cool out there, however. Your forecast for today does call for temperatures to reach 53 under mostly cloudy skies. Unseasonably cool north-northeast winds at around 5 to 10. For tonight, we drop to about 32. Under partly cloudy skies, still unseasonably cold for this time of the year, and winds light and variable. For your drivecast, things are looking good this morning, mostly sunny, and this will continue into your lunch hour here too. And maybe a few more clouds could develop as we head into early this evening. But overall, conditions remain pretty dry, and the same can be said here for your mowing forecast. 36 degrees at 8, 48 under mainly sunny skies at noon today, 53, and you could see a few more clouds, maybe mostly cloudy by that point, but overall that's probably the best bet to go ahead and mow the lawn if you plan on doing that. Now stay tuned. Coming up in just a bit, I'm going to have a check on your full weather forecast. I'll let you know how the rest of the week is shaping out, because could be some rain chances to be talking about. But also coming up in our Buzz Report, half a century ago, an author became a sensation with novels about what it was really like to be a teenager. Now one of those stories has reached the big screen. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Off to a very cold start here this morning across much of the Coulee region. Here's a check on those current conditions in La Crosse. It's 32 degrees with just a few clouds there. Visibility looking good for your driving conditions at 10 miles. We are looking at north-north winds at around 5 miles an hour, and that is making our feel-like temperatures at 27. Look at the river stage there at the bottom, 15.77 feet. That is rising this morning. In Eau Claire, the river stage in the Chippewa is lowering, which is good news. It's a little cool out here, 29 degrees with clear skies. Feels like 24 degrees, though, thanks to that northerly wind at around 5 miles an hour. Here's a check on those river levels here for you. And you can see most locations in Wabasha, Winona, even south into La Crosse are currently looking at major flooding. They are expected to crest here either today, tomorrow, or into Thursday. Now, as we head into Trempealeau, you can see it's currently at 650.9. That is moderate flooding, and that's expected to crest tomorrow at 651.2. So the flooding does continue along the Mississippi. Luckily, it is expected here to peak as we head into these next few days this week. Current temperatures are into the upper 20s to low 30s as you head out the door this morning, and I got to tell you that it's going to continue to remain well below average for this time of the year as far as our temperatures go, as you can see across the majority of the United States. Here's a check on your forecast highs today, and we'll be mainly into the low 50s with a high of 53 in La Crosse and a high of 51 today in Eau Claire. High of 52 expected this afternoon in Winona. A check on your day planner, mostly clear this morning to start, and then 48 degrees, mostly sunny by noon, 51 and mostly cloudy at 4, followed by mostly clear conditions early this evening with temperatures dropping to about 48 degrees. So we are expecting the clear skies, or at least the majority of us, to remain clear as we head throughout the morning. Here's a look at what happens this afternoon. Around 3 p.m. you can see the clouds begin to build across much of the area, and by 8 o'clock those clouds that we had increased this afternoon will decrease by early this evening. Now, as we take you into overnight, skies looking mostly clear. Temperatures also dropping into those upper 20s to low 30s. Here's 9 o'clock tomorrow, and we're going to start off mainly clear here after sunrise with temperatures in the low 40s before those clouds begin to increase as we're watching some moisture begin to increase from the west by midweek. Temperatures into the 50s by that point, but we start to look at the storm system evolve to bring us some rain and storm chances as we head into Friday. In fact, we're talking some isolated thunderstorms on Friday with chances of scattered rain showers as we head into this weekend with highs in the 50s and 60s here for the rest of this week. Early next week, cloudy skies, highs in the 50s, lows into the 30s and 40s.
In our morning bus report, the beloved young adult book has finally made it to the big screen. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret focuses on a young woman going through some big changes. Transitioning from New York to New Jersey is just the first of several challenges. She has to make new friends at a new school as she's going through physical and emotional changes. The classic Judy Blume novel was first published in 1970 when the movie takes place. For years, the author turned down offers to make her book into a film. The movie is currently in theaters.
Fishermen are always on the front lines. This is about defending our grounds, no matter what.
The new season of Deadliest Catch is underway. Illegal fishing prompted by soaring Alaskan crab prices is making the world even more dangerous, prompting older and younger captains as the competitive industry to work together to a point. The 19th season of Deadliest Catch is now playing on Recovery Channel and Discovery Plus. I'm guessing not, but have you read any Judy Blume books?
You guessed correctly, no.
No? Okay,
No.
So I read all very young girl series, really good books.
Tell me about it. What's it like?
It's just about this young girl and her life, and it
Yeah.
really relates to that specific age. So just, you know, she goes to school, about her family, and they're making it a movie, and I didn't know she had declined making a movie for years.
Interesting.
Yes. What about Deadly Catch?
I've seen Deadly Catch.
Yeah, okay,
No, that's some good stuff.
It is good. Before we head to break, it's time to look who's 8.
That's right. We want to wish a happy 8 months to Carson. Now, Carson is an energetic boy who loves to bounce and be outside. Look at that cute picture there.
Happy 8th birthday to Madeline. Madeline is a smart and beautiful 8-year-old who loves soccer, dance, and riding her horse, Sprinkle.
Happy 88th birthday to Alan. Alan is known to be a great friend who's always willing to help someone.
Happy 88th birthday to Donald. Don is a farmer and milk truck driver from Iowa. He loves to tell jokes and make people laugh.
Well, if you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. The Mississippi River continues to rise along western Wisconsin. Here is a view of Riverside Park. The floodwaters have filled into grassy areas and people are stopping by to get their own photos. La Crosse's Parks and Rec Department closed Riverside Park as well as the road that runs through it. Pettibone and Huska Park are also closed. The following trails are closed until further notice: the Cottonwood, Grand Crossing, Willow, and Jim Asfor Marsh trails. Fountain City wasn't the only place where high schoolers helped. A viewer sent us these photos from Prairie du Chien, where students and staff filled and placed sandbags around houses. Sandbags are available to residents at the corner of East Washington Street and North Ohio Street. City officials are talking to county officials about starting up a second sandbag location. Road closures continue in Prairie du Chien. As a reminder, County Road K from Cliffwood Drive to Highway 35 is closed. There are several other closures put into place. All of St. Farol Island remains closed. The Hoffman Hall Recreational Center is now a temporary shelter. If you need to evacuate, contact Crawford County Emergency. City officials are asking evacuees to contact Madison Gas and Electric and Alliant Energy if you evacuate your home. We have more information on news8000.com. Over in Eau Claire, Hmong students and members of the community gathered to celebrate their culture. The Hmong Heritage Celebration was full of performances by students, as well as the Hmong language spelling bee and traditional food. The Hmong Club brings together these students from both Eau Claire, North High School, and Memorial High School. One student says the club and events like these can help her peers reconnect with their heritage.
I had a bunch of friends who lost their language and lost their culture, didn't really know what to do. But now because of Hmong Club, they know what to wear, how to prep, what food.
North High School has Hmong language and history classes as well. The Heritage Night also had information about community resources from the local Hmong community. It's the first day of early bird registration for the 17th annual Stepping Out in Pink. The cost for people who register early is $20. Early bird registration is open through June 29th. Prices increased to $25 on the 30th. This year's event will take walkers through the La Crosse Marsh Trails. The event is Saturday, September 9th at Riverside Park in La Crosse. In the second hour, we have Olivia Moths to share more information with us on this year's Stepping in Pink.
Temperatures this morning are in the 30s, and that will continue through at least 9 o'clock this morning under mostly clear skies. We'll see temperatures warm into the 40s, however, late morning into the early afternoon. Late this afternoon around 3 to 5 and also into early this evening, we're looking at temperatures in the 50s with a mix of sun and clouds. Still unseasonably cool, however, for this time of year, and for tomorrow, a little bit warmer, partly cloudy, 58 degrees. Much warmer, though, Thursday with a high of 64, mostly cloudy there. Friday through this weekend, that's when we're talking some rain chances. Showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast. Highs in the 50s and 60s, lows in the 30s and 40s.